My name is Annie Grossman, and I'm a dog trainer. I'm the owner and co-founder of School for the Dogs, a dog training center located in Manhattan's East Village.
School for the dogs, for the dogs. School for the dogs, for the dogs.
On this podcast, I talk about dog training, interview industry experts, discuss pet trends, answer questions, and try to communicate my love for all things related to behavioral science. Thanks a lot for listening. I think this podcast will help make you the best possible human best friend any dog could ask for. Hello, folks. Thank you for being here. I am here with Brandi Barker, who has the world's best last name if you're into dogs, in my opinion. And Brandi, who is joining us from Chicago, I believe, right?
I actually moved to Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay. From Columbus, Ohio. Why don't you tell us about your amazing product, and then we can go from there.
Okay, sounds good. So it's called Bark Pouch, and it's dog treats in a pouch. Everything is human grade, and I try to keep the ingredients really minimal, and I have multiple sizes. I have multiple.
Wait, hold.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yep, no worries.
let's explain what a pouch is, because
Gotcha.
pouch has different meanings.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So you want me to start over then?
No. Just
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, so it's dog treats in a pouch. So if you've ever seen the pouches, applesauce pouches or the yogurt pouches that kids eat from, it's basically like a paste type consistency that you just hold down for your dog and squeeze a tiny bit. They lick straight from the pouch. So I really designed them for walking and training just to make that process easier for people.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is I have a toddler, but I feel like my first experience of it, and she eats now from these kinds of pouches all the time, but I feel like my first exposure to this kind of pouch was through Bark Pouch.
That's awesome.
And then I was like, oh wait, they make these for children too.
It's always the dogs, right?
And actually some of the ones that they make for children, I think you can also use for dogs.
Yes.
So we've been carrying your product for several years now, and they are so genius because they're lickable.
Yes.
And as trainers, we are very into treats that can be licked straight from the container for so many reasons. One reason that I think that people might not think about is when you're working with dogs all the time, as so many of us are, your hands get really gross and your pockets get really gross.
Oh, yeah.
So having something that can simply be given straight from the container into a dog's mouth is great. Love using it for, especially outside.
Yes.
Love using it for stuff like muzzle training. So many reasons. And recently, we have been selling so many more Bark pouches before, because they used to have to be stored frozen and then put in the refrigerator after use. But by some magic of production, they are now shelf stable as of a few months ago. And so we've been shipping them all over the country. So let's back up a little bit. Your background is as a dog trainer, am I right?
Yes. I was a dog trainer in Chicago for 15 years.
So tell me how you became a dog trainer, because as we know, there is no one path. Mm-hmm.
So I had the world's worst behaved dog, but I adored him, and he was attacked by two dogs. And his high energy, rambunctious ways just changed to dog reactivity. And I had
Was he attacked in like a dog park
He
situation
was
or?
attacked. Two dogs pulled their owner towards him, and she couldn't
Mm.
control them. And it was noisy. He didn't get physically hurt, but it changed him, and he became dog reactive. And I lived in downtown Chicago, and every trainer I called at the time, I mean, this was years ago. So I called multiple trainers, and they told me that they could help me, but they were going to put a shock collar on him. And I didn't know anything about dog training at the time. I just knew that I refused to put a shock collar on my dog. So found the Anti-Cruelty Society and started taking, growl classes with him. And, it made me adore
That's
him.
interesting. Before I knew anything about dog training too, there was I won't name names, but I was staying at someone's house and they were training their dog to have a shock collar on with an electric fence,
Oh,
and the in part of that is often like dragging the dog through the electric fence until
mhm.
they. And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't like some like grand ethical idea that I
No.
had, and it wasn't like, oh, there must be a better way. I was just like, no, I'm just
No.
not gonna shock my
No.
dog. Like I no judgment on you, but not
Yeah.
doing that to my anyway.
Yeah.
You said you took growl classes. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
So
I've
they
never heard
were
of that. What is that?
so they're basically just four dogs in one room behind screens, and in different corners, just learning how to walk out and then walk back in, and the turns and the redirection and the alternative behaviors. And I eventually graduated with him to real adult class, regular adult classes.
I think
And
that's like we have a class called Sidewalk Psychos. That's what it
yeah,
sounds a
okay.
little bit like.
So yeah, so it was really just trying to get him acclimated around other dogs in controlled settings. And
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with what training did for the two of us.
Mm.
And I was in HR at the time, so I just at the time I my experience was dog trainers didn't necessarily love people. They were really good with dogs.
isn't that a, isn't that a stereotype that?
And I really love both. So I thought, well, maybe I can use my HR background and combine it with dog training. And I remember when I went to one of the trainers and declared my intent to become a dog trainer. She was so kind, but the look on her face was hysterical because it was just like, whoa, you're handling, like, you could just see she was like, your handling skills. Oh, you have a lot of work ahead of you.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I
Okay.
put in the work, and I ended up getting a master's degree in animal behavior too.
Oh wow. Where did you go?
DePaul University. It was, I wanted to do everything right. And I spent years and years training dogs before I even considered opening a business, because I wanted to make sure I understood all the intricacies of dog behavior, because there's just so much that you can do incorrectly and damage, do more harm than good, even though your intentions are good.
So you opened up your own business
I
in
did,
Chicago,
yes.
is that right?
Yes, yes.
And
Yes,
I'm assuming that uh this led you to think about dog treats that could be licked, I'm guessing.
yes, yes. I spent years, I was always on the hunt for the perfect treat, because I did a lot of reactive. I worked with a lot of reactive dogs, because I just, I mean, a lot of dogs, I mean, a lot of dogs in urban environments, that's their only exercise is leash walks. And that's, when you're working with a reactive dog, it's, and that's their only exercise. It can get a little tricky. So, I just really, I had a hard time watching my clients struggle with, the timing of trying to dig treats out of their pockets, and then they're dropping treats on the ground, or their dogs are biting their fingers, or their dogs were licking, refusing treats. And it just, they couldn't focus on what they were trying to focus on, and that was learning and trying to teach their dogs. I just wanted to make the treating process easy for them, so they could focus on what they were trying to focus on, listening to me, their trainer, and paying attention to their dogs and paying attention to their surroundings. And trying to teach at the same time, which is all a lot for people to deal with without digging for hot dogs out of their pockets.
So did you just start experimenting in your kitchen?
I did, yeah. And some of the concoctions I came up with, I mean, the nice thing was I had lots of willing taste testers because, of my client roster. And I tell you what, some of the concoctions I came up with were, I think the stinkiest, grossest one that nobody would touch was sardines and pumpkin. Just literally those two. It was awful.
Did the dogs like it?
Oh no. Oh no.
Well,
I was trying to keep it healthy.
well, canned pumpkin without sugar in it is an easy treat to get in the
Mhm.
supermarket to give to dogs. I don't know about pulverized sardines. Um, I guess one could put them in a blender and go that
Yes.
route.
Yes. But the two of them combined were not a hit with anybody, and I really had a hard time making them because the combination of the two in a food processor, it was just disgusting.
Okay, so that didn't work.
Yeah.
What came next then?
So the what came next was the sardines and cream cheese because I was using a lot of cheese in my training, and cream cheese is pretty yummy, and I wanted to add we were when I first launched, I had two business partners, and their family life just changed, so we parted ways a couple years ago, and amicably, of course. But so when I say we, I'm talking of the two of them. We really tried to keep things as healthy as possible. That has changed over the years. I do have one recipe that is healthy, but the sardines and cream cheese was next, and we tried really hard to make it palatable for people. So it's mostly cream cheese to kind of mask the smell of sardines, and then the salmon ricotta came along the same time, and that's mostly salmon to try to keep it as low fat and trying to keep it in the healthier category as possible, though I don't claim any of them are quote unquote healthy except for the turkey and chicken.
Okay. Well, they might not be quote unquote healthy, but any treat should be making up a minority of whatever your dog is eating, right? So,
Yes, yes, yes.
um,
But the salmon is low fat and the turkey is low fat, so I try to have kind of something for everyone. Because I recognize too that if people are treating a lot, that they want to really keep, because sometimes they're really conscious of the calorie content and what they're
mhm,
feeding their dogs.
mhm. So, and your first ones had to be refrigerated, right?
They had to be frozen before use, which, as you know, because you were ordering with all the dry, when I had to ship dry ice, it was cumbersome, and I can't even imagine trying to get dry ice right now with the COVID vaccines. Like it was, I would when I was shipping with dry ice, I would have to sometimes go to three different stores to get it because it was really hard to get,
Mm-hmm.
and just didn't like what it did in the environment and all that fun stuff. So it took me about 6 years to make the product shelf stable the right way, but it finally happened last year, and it was, I can't tell you how excited I am that I was finally able to do it.
What is difficult about making something shelf stable? I mean, I know nothing about this, and I'm guessing you went in knowing very little too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's, because the products, because you're not baking the products, I had to keep that kind of paste like consistency. Um, Finding an ingredient to keep them fresh without adding, something. I actually had a food scientist actually say to me that she had a great experimental chemical that would work in my product. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, there's no way. So just finding the right ingredient to make, to lower the pH so that it's safe at room temperature for long periods of time once it's sealed off was just really tricky. And then the second piece to it was keeping the taste palatable. A lot of the ingredients that I tested tasted like straight up vinegar, and no dog would touch that. I did
Mm-hmm,
lots
mm-hmm.
of taste messing with it, and had lots of, my sister's dog who eat anything. Like the dog would eat cardboard, I'm sure, if you let him. He turned his nose up to a couple of the ingredients, and then just, making sure the process is 100% consistent no matter what. Um, so it's, once I found the right food scientist, it all just it kind of flowed really nicely. But the process of finding that food scientist took me at least a couple years.
What kind of feedback do you get from clients?
Right now, I am ecstatic because I literally just get pictures of dogs eating pouches and people telling me that it's making their training that much easier, and their dogs love the flavors, and that makes me so happy because, that's the whole purpose of why I do what I do. Is I want to make people's lives easier. And that's literally the emails I get right now, is just cute picture. I get to see cute pictures of dogs eating my product, and it makes me so happy.
um, I can tell you when my dog was dying, sadly, I was able to, it was one of the few things that he would eat. And I would put his pills in little, what do you call it? I don't know, like droplets. Not the
Yeah.
right word. Little blubs
Yeah.
of
There you go. I
it was
like
a
it.
blub of bark pouch stuff. And so are you still training, or is this now your full-time thing?
I am not training. I gave up training probably about 3 years ago. I still do own my training business in Chicago and have a trainer that's seeing clients there. But, this is the majority of what I'm spending my time on right now.
And you have 3 flavors, is that right?
I have five,
Oh,
actually.
5. Okay, what are they? Do
Yes. So
we carry 5 or do we carry 3? I'm not even
you
sure.
carry the two that the two, I call them, for lack of better terminology, and PR people would probably cringe hearing me say this, but they're stinky. You carry the stinkier, higher value ones. So there's peanut butter and blueberries, which I say is really good for, like the labs who are like, oh, like everything, because I don't want to encourage dogs to bite the pouch. It's also good for puppies. And then I've got my 2 low fat blends, the salmon and ricotta, and the turkey and chicken. And then you carry the really high value ones that are good for dogs that will often turn their nose up to other treats, and that's the beef and liverwurst and the sardines and cream cheese.
Okay. Maybe we should be carrying all of them.
I think you did at one point, but those are the two. Those are my 2 popular ones with trainers, just because they're the stinkiest.
Are there any similar products on the market that you recommend or don't recommend, for that matter?
When I put together my business plan, I mean, the closest thing out there would be like the lean licks or what have you, but those, that's more like a deodorant type
Oh,
consistency.
yeah.
Right.
When the lean licks first came out, I was really excited about them.
Yeah.
But I actually just ordered one recently from one of the places we buy from for our shop. I bought like one just to try it.
Yeah, of course.
And now they're made by a company. I think they're made by the same company that makes like Himalayan chews, which we order all the time. And they're in this yeah, they're like hard deodorant, but now they come in a pack or a tube that also has a clicker attached to it, and you can
Okay.
put dog poop bags in the container too. So I was like, okay, well that's kind of cool. Like clicker, like bag of, roll of poop bags, licking treat. Like they've got it all in one little handy thing
Yeah.
now. Got to try it, but it like the amount of product in it was like negligible, and it was just like this sort of dry jelly stuff that like broke up and fell out, and it was really disappointing. So I don't know if they changed the formula, or I think even way back when they kind of like used to dry out pretty quickly. There was also what was it called? Lickety sticks. Do you remember lickety
Yes,
sticks?
yes, yes, yes.
Those were like wet deodorant, roll-on
Yeah.
deodorant, and I don't think they were I don't think that what was in the product was super high quality stuff, but
Oh no, it was literally just that I'm glad you brought that one up because that was another one that I was like, I mean, the ingredients literally, it was nothing but chemicals.
yeah. But that was a cool product in that it was something that was. Oh, hi, baby. I'm on the phone. Sorry. That was a cool product because the dog could just lick the end. Have you ever thought of making something more liquidy like that?
No, because at this point in time, just trying to procure the packaging for my products is extensive work
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because everybody's starting to put things in pouches. So,
Is that true?
oh yeah, I mean, I've been testing a few new vendors' products the last couple weeks because I'm almost out, and it's just the growing need for pouches is really tremendous, and mine have to go through a lot of temperature changes as part of the sterilization process. So not all of them can withstand that.
Oh my
So
God,
yeah,
why is there a growing need of pouches? Like, have people stopped chewing things? What?
I think a lot of companies are just looking at it as an opportunity, like beauty products and pouches and, different types of, portable food and pouches for, people that camp and hike and whatnot. But yeah, it's a little difficult right now to procure those.
Hmm.
So
Well, then maybe the deodorant roll-on style lickety stick would be easier to procure because I don't see people selling food in that in
yeah, I mean,
that kind of thing.
what I've learned in the past year is, figuring out inventory and shipping and all of that was a little more work than I had planned.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal by the end of the year would be to introduce another 10 flavors. And then my goal in the next 2 years is I actually have a proprietary designed pouch that is specific to dogs, and it's patented and everything. And there's just some things that I think would be better suited for dogs in my design versus what's actually on the market. And I hope by then food science will have caught up with what I would desire, because I would actually like for the pouch to be, if not biodegradable, then recyclable, because a lot of there's the science, just it's not possible at this particular time, to keep food safe in that type of package. But I hope by the time I can roll mine out, it will be, because I really would like to make it super earth friendly.
Right, right. Neat. Okay. Well, this has been really interesting. Thanks a lot for taking the time. Besides storeforthedogs.com, or our shop, where can people get bark pouches? Are they sold in other brick and mortar stores, or is online best right now?
Online is best right now. I'm still trying to get my costs down, so I'm really not taking on any new wholesale customers at this point. My website barkpouch.com is a great alternative to your website.
Awesome. And you're on Instagram too, right?
I am, yes.
Where can people find you there?
I'm at Bark Pouch on both Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you so much, Brandi.
Thank you. Really enjoyed talking with you, Annie.
School for the dogs.
Thank you so much for listening. And special thanks to Bill and Lizzie of Toast Garden for the amazing theme song. You can find Toast Garden at youtube.com/toastgarden. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. You can also support us by shopping at storeforthedogs.com, and you can learn more about us at schoolforthedogs.com. You can also connect with other listeners by downloading our brand new app. Just visit schoolforthedogs.com/community.